affect the way you guys train? The fact that the magnitude of this fight is bigger and that there's cameras following you and everything. Does it make things more intense when you're being watched by these cameras that are going to put it out there, you know, on HBO?
You know, I don't know. For some reason, we have been putting everything aside. We're just focusing on our training. I can tell you personally myself, it hasn't bothered me at all.
Yeah.
I am very, very confident. I'm very relaxed. I know there's a lot of attention around us. We have cameras. HBO people, they've been great, you know, following us around. And it's not a distraction. I mean, the only difference is, I mean, to me, I think that if I go on the website and open up a page and read, and that would affect me. But I'm not even reading anything. I'm not even watching the news. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. The best TV show I've watched since we started training right now is the Chipmunks on the bus on the way over here, and that relaxes me. You know?
Yeah.
But besides that, if I don't read anything, and if I don't hear anything, I mean, I'm focused on my thing.
Is that how you normally are before during training camp of fights? You're not on the internet. You're not watching stuff. So you got. I mean, Timmy can answer for himself, but for you, you're not watching the HBO. You're not watching 24/7.
Oh, I watch it 24/7.
Okay.
Oh, the 24/7 I do watch, you know,
Okay.
but I watch it just to see, you know, because sometimes they try to work with your mind, reverse psychology. But you know, I just watch it and smile, and, you know, move on. By the next day,
Are you saying you watch it for what the other team says? What Freddie Roach and them?
Yeah, but you know, I watch it Saturday night, Sunday morning. I'm doing my thing, and it really, you know, it's like, okay, I watch it, and I try not to remember what I watch because it really doesn't bother me. I'm focused on my job right now. I'm focused on Tim, and oh man, you know, I sleep very, very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Knowing what I got and the plan that we got, and you know, for 28 fights, our strategy has worked real well.
Yeah.
And I know that in this fight, it's gonna keep working. We got a great plan. I did a lot of homework. I did a lot of homework as far as watching Manny from. I started watching his fights since the Morales fight, the first Morales fight. And then from there, I went all the way to his last fight. And you know, watching Manny's fights, every single one I learned from it. So putting together a fight plan, I got it, and I'm ready. I'm very confident.
What things do you notice watching from the first? I think that was 2005, the first Morales fight, to the last fight against Marquez. What has changed with Manny? Has anything changed style-wise?
No, Manny Pacquiao is a very active fighter. He throws a lot of punches, but at the same time, he's a one-dimensional fighter. He's just a one-dimensional fighter, and I noticed that in every single one of his fights. And that helped. That was one of the things that helped me the most. You know, just figuring out the strategy for this fight. And it's a good strategy because Timothy has been following in the gym, and it's coming out really, really well. We're gonna finish camp with 147 rounds, and out of those 147 rounds, I'm thinking maybe 10 rounds. Timothy looked a little slow, you know. And that's
You're talking about the rounds of sparring?
Rounds of sparring.
How many?
147 rounds.
147.
And you know what? Out of those 147 rounds, maybe I'm thinking maybe 10 rounds. You know, he's had, you know, I didn't say bad, but a little slow. Because usually on Mondays, he says, I don't like Mondays, coach. On Mondays, believe me, it's not my day. And it's not only yours, Tim, it's ours too, you know, getting back to the office on a Monday. So on Wednesdays and Fridays, man, I mean, it's just great performance. Lots of punches, lots and lots of punches, you know, lots of movement, and a lot of energy, man. This guy's, 2 weeks ago, he was already on weight.
Right.
Walking around at 150.
Right.
I mean, very, very strong.
It's healthy for him, yeah. Didn't have to go all the way down to 140.
He also said he wanted to come in at like 144, 145, something
That's what
like
he
that,
said,
right?
but I'm not gonna let him. You know, I'm not gonna let him. He wants to do a lot of things, but I'm right now. He's like a horse, man. I'm holding him back right here. You know, relax, because I mean he wants it so bad that it could work against us. Just him wanting it too much and overtrain. Right now, all we have to do is maintain. Nothing else but just maintain. He's ready to go. Monday, yesterday after training, I just told him, hey, that's it. He goes, hey, no, coach, I'm ready. I'm bored of training already. So right now, all we have to do is just maintain, finish this week. Next week is just rest. Rest because he's on weight. He's ready to go. And we go to Vegas, and like we always do, we leave the work back home. We go to Vegas, of course, you know, just to relax, go shadow box a little bit just to keep the motion going. But other than that, we're just waiting for the day. He could fight this Saturday. He could have fought last week.
In terms of the fight itself, I mean, we've seen Manny kind of look spectacular against guys like Claudio Margarito, but last year against guys like Shane Mosley, Marquez, guys that give him movement, at least some type of resistance, kind of looked ordinary. How do you see this fight? Do you think Tim's going to take a more tactical approach going into this, or do you think that he's going to try to get on the inside, try to force
well,
Manny?
I'm going to tell you, the thing with Tim is we feel him out. We feel him out like every fighter's supposed to, because I mean, regardless who sparring partners you have or who you fight, who you spar, I mean, first day, first round, second round, it's about, you know, feel him out. You know, see what you can do, see what you can't do, and that's when I come in. I mean, when I take my fighter to the first round, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. That's why I gotta let him work. That's why I tell him, hey, your eyes wide open and be very, very careful. You know, be very, very smart. Once the bell rings after the first round, then I start working, because now I start watching what we need to work on. And for this fight, I know that, and I understand. You know, Tim is he's very, very strong, very, very fast. I know Manny has looked really good in his last fights. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy has 60 fights already. I mean, hey, he has a lot of miles in his engine already, and you know, he keeps coming. I mean, we understand that he is a very active fighter. He's a very intense fighter because he keeps coming, and we are prepared for that. Remember, for every fighter, there's a plan, and we got it. You know, we got a perfect plan for Manny, and I know the last fight with Marquez. Marquez really did a great job. Didn't do the extra to convince the judges, you know, but I think we are going to do it. I know that night we're not only fighting Manny Pacquiao, we're fighting the judges.
Now, you talked about the mileage and the 60 fights. You know, Timothy Bradley brings something that Manny Pacquiao has rarely seen in his career, that's fighting a young guy in his prime with not a lot of mileage. Do you feel, as a trainer, that you're catching Manny Pacquiao at a good time, that Manny's picked the wrong guy to fight next weekend?
At this point, yes. You know, I just, they're supposed to be worried, of course, you know. And this is the point right now at Manny Pacquiao's level, at this point of his career. He's the one that needs to look good, you know, because the fans, you know, all the people in the world of boxing, they weren't too convinced about his last fight. So I know, and in my mind, Manny Pacquiao is gonna have a lot of pressure on his back, trying to prove otherwise to the world, you know, that he's not washed up, and he's gonna come and get us. He's gonna try to impress the world by trying to knock out Tim Bradley, and that's where he's gonna run into problems. You know, all I have to do is have my fighter very, very alert, because Manny is the one that's going to have to do the extra work to convince the world.
What is it about Manny's fighting style that you think Tim can just match up so well against?
You know, Manny Pacquiao, the intensity of work that he puts in the ring, it's great. But I think, you know, at this point of Tim's career, he can match that. Tim can match the speed of Manny, and the volume of punches are going to be there. It's going to be a tough fight for both fighters, and you know, like I said, you want to be Manny Pacquiao, you got to take risks. And I know that once we feel Manny Pacquiao, and I start making my adjustments in the ring, you know, it's gonna be a war. That's when Timothy feels that, okay, coach, I got this. Okay, you got it, but be very careful, and this is what we're gonna do. We change it up. I mean, I work with plan A, plan B, and plan C. I just don't have one plan. because sometimes one plan don't work, so you gotta have a backup. And when I train my fighter for a fight, I train them for different circumstances. I mean, if you have to get in there and brawl, we're gonna brawl, but brawl the right way. If we're gonna get in there and box, you're gonna box, counter punch the right way. You know, but this is gonna be a fight where we're gonna get in there and frustrate Manny Pacquiao before we get in there.
Marquez gave him a problem, so counterpunching him. Marquez beat Pacquiao. Timothy's really good counterpuncher.
Well, if you think Marquez is a great counterpuncher, you're gonna see a better counterpuncher in Tim Bradley that night. Because Tim's style, I mean, if you want to see Tim brawl, that kid can brawl. You know, when he came to me from day one to start training him, I said, okay, Tim, you're a great boxer. In your amateur career, you did a lot of boxing. You're a great boxer. Okay, now you're gonna have to, you know, give some action to the fans. You're gonna get in there and show the world that you can fight. But and that's because that's how we started. But if I tell Tim to let loose and box, he can box all night. He can counter you all night. You know, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, because they see Timothy, oh man, that guy comes, he brawls, he comes and gets you. He does, but he can make adjustments in the fight, and busy adjustments.
Do you believe that that Tim's level of competition has been overlooked? He's fought a lot of mix of guys like Kendall Holt and Junior Witter, and he's fought young guys like Lamont Peterson and Devin Alexander when they were undefeated. A lot of people are kind of, or you think people are overlooking Tim's accomplishments to this point because he's just fighting Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give credit to every fighter, and you know, if you really look at Tim Bradley, he's been an underdog since he fought Junior Witter. I mean, going to England, I had calls personally myself, people calling me stupid because I was taking Tim Bradley to England. That kid was gonna get knocked out in England. Okay, look, we come back with the WBC. After that, we were an underdog against Kendall Holt. Okay, you know, Tim got caught in the early rounds because Kendall Holt had a good plan. And we knew back in the days, back a few fights ago, I mean, you talk trash to Tim Bradley, you get under his skin. He won't talk back to you, but he'll have that inside him. You get under his skin, you got him. He's gonna come get you, and he's gonna come get you reckless. That's what happened to Kendall Holt. And you know what? That was one. And then after that, we had Devin Alexander. We were underdogs. We've been underdogs. We're used to it. I mean, it doesn't bother us. And I know June 9th, we're still gonna be underdogs. And at the end of the day, you guys are gonna see who Tim Bradley really is, because he's used to all this. He's used to the underdog. You know, he's not gonna make it. He's too small. He don't hit hard. All right, he don't hit hard. 28 fights. Me as a former fighter, I get in the ring against a fighter that doesn't hit hard. Believe me, I build the confidence to finish him. Why don't they finish him? I'm talking about Kendall Holt, who has a lot of power. Kendall Holt has power. Junior Witter, who has power. And Lamont Peterson, they came in undefeated, in the best shape of his life. How come they didn't beat him? Okay, that night is going to be a big shock in the world in boxing.